that is one of the weirdest beginning intros to a song I've ever heard. I vaguely remember it. Now, this was from, you recognize it? I'll let you puzzle over that for a minute. What we have is a bunch of augmented chords, all a whole step apart. It's just terrible. Finally lands on a G, which is a good one because that makes it's chord 5 of where we're going. Anyway, it is. I'll get back to that, and don't worry, I'll tell you what that was in case you can't place it. It is. We're getting close to Christmas. It is December 15th around here, Friday, and I've gotten engrossed in a few things, and this happens. Well, this happens all the time. I kind of like get on a kick and have to pursue it for a while. And lately, as you know, the kick has been 60s pop songs. Play a little of this since I'm in. Don't talk. You've heard me mess around with this for years, probably. Wait a minute, let's try it again. There we go. Anyhow, for years I've messed around with Bus Stop. What happens next? Oh yeah. Finally got it organized enough to where it became a lesson. So that happened this week. That was my big accomplishment. And I spent a lot more than three minutes a day working on that. And on the other stuff that I'm messing with. Great responses to our 3-minute challenge, and let's see, as of tomorrow, should start filling in. I like the fact that some people have already started their practice sheets there, and that is the plan for over the weekend. I hope everybody that's participating, we have over 50 people that have committed to it, and we want to see how that goes. Please make sure, though, to total up your minutes and your days at the bottom. We're not going to add that up for you, so you gotta make sure to fill out the whole little bracket. Anyway, great to see. I saw some people up there already with a lot of hours every day, and then a few with just hitting the minimum, 5-6 minutes a day. That's all we're asking. And well, then we're going to ask for like thoughts and reports on this after it's all over. So anyway, great to see that. And speaking of the forum, what else? There have been some great requests for songs there lately. And well, let me get to that. Let me digress for a second. I want to welcome Nesh back into getting lessons for us. We, of course, had a new REO Speedwagon tune this week, In My Dreams, and I know that he's back on board, pumping out some lessons. So thrilled to hear that. I'm sure that a lot of you are thinking that we don't have enough lessons here, so we're trying to mend that problem, I guess, would be a way of talking about it. Where I was going here, though, was I want to talk about some stuff on the forum that there have been some great requests in the lesson request section going back, and I do look at all of them. I mean, every time something comes up, I've still got the Rembrandts on my mind. It's like, that might make a good lesson that was a request from a couple months ago, I think now. Then I did see the recent one. Sometimes I'll see one up there and I'll say, oh, that'd be really easy. I've played that song for like 40 years. Problem with this is they do this in 3-part harmony. There are 3 different melodies going on, I think. There's at least 2. And when I did this when I first played this on my Beatles album back in 1989 or so, on my album of Beatles tunes called A Beatles Collection, I tried to get all of them in there, which made the song really, really difficult to accurately get all 3 parts in there. So that was the first thing. When I saw that request for that, I thought, oh, that'd be an easy one. I know the song really well. And then I started thinking about it. It's got some really tricky parts in it if you try to play all 3 vocal parts at the same time and bass notes. So I'm working on the idea of having a couple different levels of that song. One where we only have one melody. Gotta have that. Still had to get 2 voices in there for that one little slide. Later on, we're going to get all 3. And that's where it gets into the difficult part. But it has such a great opening lick. I'll just show you that right now because it's just an F sharp. F sharp on the 4th string. By the way, I'm using a thumb pick because I've got a defective nail right now. So in order to get a bit of extra punch in there, broken out. I have a whole bunch of thumb picks, but there's one, this is it, that is like perfect. Fits my thumb really well. A lot of the other ones I have are a little too tight, and after a few minutes on, they're cuts off the circulation and stuff like that. Or the point of it is too long. A lot of times, so this one is perfect. Anyway, I felt fortunate to find it in the box of stuff where I was pretty sure it was when I needed it. Anyway. We have is F sharp, and then an open B and an open E is the easiest way to do this, and then grab an A major chord. And what's so weird about this song is that then it starts on an A minor chord and in harmony. Finally, it comes into just one part. Now it's back to multiple voices. How can I do that? So anyway, to try to get all that stuff in there. So I appreciate the request on that, and I probably will get around to doing that. That's probably on January's agenda, hopefully. But this, oh man. This was a request for the Billy Swan song, I Can Help. And it has some really fascinating things in it. The progression is, 90% of the progression is really straightforward. We just got C's to A minors. I guess I'm going to turn this into a whole lesson on how to play that song. Then something similar goes to chord 4, F to D minor. Almost like a 12-bar blues, and back to C to A minor. And then, as we'd expect, to 5, G. But then this little secondary subdominant, dominant sequence. Got that? Secondary sub is B flat, the sub is F, and the dominant is G. There we go. B flat, F, G, and back to the C. So, but I might break that down a little bit more. It does sound like a good candidate for a lesson, so I appreciate that suggestion. It even has, I don't think I can do this, I got to do this with a pick. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about, I was talking about, or maybe, I don't know, it was maybe longer than that, talking about playing thirds on the top 2 strings in the key of C. A C and an E, a D and an F, an E and a G, an F and an A, a G and a B, an A and a C, a B and a D. There's the whole scale. Oh, don't miss any. There's a cool guitar lead in this song. all in thirds. So I'm thinking about doing a lesson on that, but I have one more really weird thing that talks about to talk about with it. Great use of augmented chords, and that's what happens in the bridge to this. Maybe the chorus. We call it a bridge, really, even though it happens twice. Very simply, it goes from F. It goes to an F for a couple measures, and then back to the C to the A minor, then the F again, this time to D, and finally a secondary dominant, taking us to G, the real dominant, and for a little extra twisting of the knife, a G augmented chord created by raising the D on the 4th string to D sharp. So that's where we hear augmented chords, is as dominant chords frequently, just to have an extra bite. Last week I was talking about the G7 flat 9, another really colorful chord that happened in Winter Wonderland. I think that was part of last week's discussion, maybe the week before. But anyhow, in I Can Help, we hear this augmented chord. Here's another place you hear augmented chords. Well, this happened in the beginning. Another common shape for an augmented chord is like a little F. I've moved it here to G, to the 3rd fret, but I need to move the note on the 2nd string up a half step. So I end up playing what looks like an A minor shape of a chord on the top 3 strings, and then the 5th fret of the 4th string. So that's a way to play it on the top 4 strings, and that's what happened in the intro to I Can Help. Just kept every 2 frets all the way down from starting up at the 11th and 12th. Really scary sounding chords. The other place you've heard this is John Lennon's tune Starting Over. So a couple cases, I think that's all I want to talk about with augmented chords, but they're a real specialty chord. They're not even used as commonly as diminished chords, kind of the other cousin in the triad world, but they're really cool. Okay, I'm going to end with, I made a little bit of progress, actually I made a lot of progress on something I was dabbling with last week, and it's taken over my life too, because I keep finding more and more efficient ways to play this tune I was messing with last week that I was thinking, these changes are going to be really hard. There we go. As it goes along, by the time we get to 4, it'd be something like this. By the time we get to 6, we have a whole different part. I haven't worked this out very well yet, but let me think. Same beginning. Okay, so I'm going to have to get that done before this Christmas, because I think it warrants becoming another instrumental. I keep coming up with ones that, well, We Three Kings from last week was pretty straightforward and easy. That's in the beginning to intermediate range, I think, probably beginning. This one is going to be in the advanced range. I got to quit doing all these advanced songs, but I hope people like them. I guess I'm trying to get some of them off my chest. And these 60s pop ones, they're going to start coming back a little bit too. Okay, let's forgot to mention, picked up a really cool record this year. I got 2 new Christmas albums. I don't know if I'm going to keep going through this. I guess I will. Let's try and figure it out. I'm not remembering this chord. Let's go high. That was just so slow and so long. I was going to tell you about this album I got that didn't know about till just read. I forget where I read something about it. Rick Wakeman Christmas album, all solo piano stuff, and all done very classically and very flourishy. A lot of the stuff that we hear in there, boy, and it was really nice. I'm sure it's from a few years ago, but so let's see if we can rag up that tune I just played. I don't know if this might be too much. I played this last week, didn't I? Oh well. Okay, back to your regular programming, and I will see you next week.